Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Nickens coming at you with another video.
This is going to be a little fun one. This is me responding and reacting to comments on the MLW pitcher tier list video. It just hit 2,000 views on YouTube, so thank you for all the people who watched it. I responded to a lot of these comments already, but this is just going to be more of an in-depth kind of look through for more critical comments and things. Lighthearted, of course. I don't take offense to any criticisms or things like that. This is just something fun for me and for you guys at home. So yeah, just have some fun with it. I will be doing some honest critiquing and, my reaction to it. All right, so our first comment is from Corey A. And it says, absolutely insane to have Dan Shultz as regular S tier when he's the best pitcher in the league. I mean, sure, you can definitely argue for that, but I think that, only S tier. I think it's interesting to say this, seeing as everybody above him had all won an award for the year. Chris Cheatham won Finals MVP. Kyle Shultz was the MVP. Ryan Crash won Cy Young. So, I mean, yes, I understand what you're saying, Corey, but I feel like my tier is justified based off the merit of who all won awards this year. And that's based on fan vote, not just mine. So, hey, next up we got Stephan. No hate, but I would slide Cheatham down a tier just because for most of the season he was not the ace. Oh, and when you said he would win Rookie of the Year, remember it is only the regular season, not postseason. I get that, but the way they set up the awards this year did include the postseason, and I feel, in my opinion, it is important to include the postseason, just because of the amount of games. I do understand what you're saying that, he wasn't the ace all year. I can agree with that, but just because he didn't start the amount of games that Jorgensen did during the season does not mean he could have, and does not mean that he would have been good. I mean, if you look at his stats, on average, he was right up there with Dan Shultz. And with that, continuing into the postseason, I definitely think that he earned that spot. Next up, we got WPBO, Wiffle Ball Productions, saying, fantastic list, but just need to put Daniel Shultz in double S. I mean, yes, I understand, but I can't put everybody in double S. If I wanted to, I probably could have put Jorgensen, Dan, and even Tommy all up there. But, this is just this year, and I think you need to separate the types of season. So, again, I think Dan's a great pitcher. No disrespect to him, but yeah, I think that just an S-tier season is definitely merited by what he was doing. Next up, we got Cremations. And it says, man's put 4 people ahead of Dan. So this is interesting. Again, another Dan comment. So a bunch of Dan stands. But, I mean, I think he's referring to Jorgensen in this case. And I feel like I'm not ordering... I responded this into the comment. It's like, I'm not ordering it based off of who I think is the first and the worst. I just put it up there in any particular order, just putting them in a tier. So I only really put 3 ahead of Dan and Jorgensen in this case. But, I mean, again, same thing with the other comment. This is just about that all the people ahead of Dan all won awards. And Dan is a great pitcher, and he did have a good season and led the Eagles to the clutch wins that they needed to. But it's just not the level that he needed to be in double S. I think, sure, talent-wise, Dan is a double S tier pitcher. But season-wise and statistically-wise, he was just an S tier pitcher. So... yeah, and another, going on to Piggy Adventure, I don't think Cheatham should have the double S tier because he's really only good in the playoffs. And I think Dan should be in double S tier because of his pitches. Yeah, Dan has a great arsenal for sure. But I think, again, I feel like I'm repeating myself. Chris definitely had an underrated regular season. And I think people should recognize him for that, even though, he may have not had the most amazing season. Moving on to Reddit, we have Blameout saying Norp and Tommy deserve some more respect. And, I mean, I guess I understand that, I mean, I'm not disrespecting Tommy or Norp by putting them in A tier. Tommy had an okay season, considering the fact that he's usually in the top 3 for pitchers in a regular year. This is just not his year. And I think that he still led the Mallards to a ton of wins despite that. It's just not on the same level as Dan putting the team on his back or Jorgensen having a good year. I think, sure, that Tommy can be in double S tier easily if he improves his numbers. And Norp, I mean, another Norp stan, but I love Jimmy Norp, but again, he probably had the same year as Trevor Bonham. If you want to put Norp in S tier, you're going to have to also put Trevor Bonham in S tier. And then you're also going to have to put the next guy and the next guy. And it just keeps going after that. So I had to make a stop somewhere. So I think that putting those guys on A tier is important. Going on to Cristopia, and he says, how dare you throw that much disrespect to Norp? Coughlin deserves more too. So same as this last comment. I guess, again, I'm not really trying to throw shade at Norp. It's an 8th tier season, especially for a rookie. It wasn't like he was lights out from the plate. They only got the same amount of wins as the Gators. I mean, they barely got into the playoffs at the end of the season, along with the Eagles, and they were carried by, Dan Schultz. Whereas the Diamondbacks had 3 great hitters hitting all the time. So he didn't put the team on his back as much as Dan did. And I'm sure Coughlin deserves more too, but again, this is the 2020 season, not previous seasons. And so Trevor Bonham basically had a better season statistically than Tommy, but really Tommy helped the Mallards get a ton of wins this season. So I felt like that justified the 8 tier. All right, this comment comes from Adam Scott D. It says, Cheatham is not double S. S probably, but while he had a lights out postseason, Jorgensen was a much better in the regular season. And sure, you can say that Jorgensen was much better. I mean, not exponentially, though. It wasn't like Jorgensen was pitching twice as good as Chris. I mean, he was pitching better, sure. It's not about what games you pitch, is the importance of the games you pitch. Just because someone pitches a game, in the regular season, it's not as important in the postseason, in my opinion. So I feel like that elevates Chris because he was great when it mattered most. Now, no one's talking about how Drew Davis threw a no-hitter against the Diamondbacks in the first series of the year. No one's talking about how great Drew Davis is because of that. Does that not make Drew Davis a great pitcher? Not at all. Does that mean that he should be any higher in S tier because he did have a no-hitter? Probably not. Again, it's what matters. It's the games that matter that people remember. And people are going to remember that the Gators won the championship, not that Drew Davis had a no-hitter in the first game of the season. So let's move on to the batting tier list. This is fun. Julian Ting. And it says, Chris Cheatham is overrated. No double S tier for pitching or hitting. I think he performed like he did in the playoffs, like he did in the regular season, yes. But here, no. Like you said, Jimmy Norp crushed on Cheatham in the regular season, who you put in double S tier for pitching. Okay. I feel like this is an interesting argument from Julian. I do not think that Chris Cheatham is overrated. I think Chris Cheatham is rated. And in fact, in this case, I think many times when you look at people who have successful careers in any sport, as soon as they get too cool or like they win something, they immediately become overrated or they immediately become not good. Sure, you can say that Chris Cheatham got hot when he needed to and, blah, 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 blah. I think your argument is a little flawed, and I'll get into that. So, I do think that the season that Chris Cheatham had is double S here for pitching and hitting. Could you argue that maybe he doesn't have the talent to be in double S tier for Bert? Longevity lies. Sure, I'm not going to get into that. Do I think he is? Yeah, for sure. I think that if he continues playing like he has, he can definitely make the case for it. I think he performed well in the regular season and in the playoffs, and he did a great job. But Jimmy Norp did not crush on Cheatham. It was Jonah Heath who crushed on Cheatham. Jimmy Norp only got a few hits off of Cheatham and no home runs, whereas Jonah Heath was the one raking off of him. Here's the argument. But you can't have this dichotomy where Jimmy Norp is good and Chris Cheatham's bad. They're either both good or they're both bad. Because Chris Cheatham was raking off Jimmy Norp, then Jimmy Norp was getting hits off Chris Cheatham. So they're both playing pretty well against each other, and they were both striking each other out. But they weren't both like lopsidedly raking against each other. So either they're both good or they're both bad. It's not one or the other. So I do understand where you're coming from, but I think that they're about the same in terms of skill-wise. We have a comment from DBB313, and it says, I would move Chadwick to double S, Ward to S, and Russell to C, but a pretty good list. Thank you. I definitely, again, Chadwick, I explained in the video, Chadwick is on the fringe. I feel like he's just so close either way. He had such an amazing season, had so much impact. He was the lifeline for the Magic all season. If you wanted to put him in double S, you could totally do that. I went back and forth on the decision in my head, and I could definitely see if you put him there, like, I would not say anything against it. It was more like I didn't want to put everybody in a certain place, you know? Warded S, I mean, you can definitely make a case for. He has the talent for it, for sure. This season, I think he was a little down. I think he's going to train this offseason, and he's going to be absolutely great. You know he's going to come out with a fire, especially after going out against the Wildcats. So definitely be looking out for the Preds this season. And I would not be surprised if Warda moved up to S next year. And then he puts Russell in C tier, which is interesting. So he's moving Russell down from B tier. I can see why you would want to do that. I don't think that he had a C tier season. He had more production than the guys in C tier, for sure. I think that he's a better batter. He is a great batter, and I think he just had an off season, and so that's why he's in B. He had a really good on-base percentage, and I think it was better than most of the guys in C tier, so that's why I put him in B tier. But I mean, I'm not going to argue that, you know, I couldn't see anybody putting him in C tier, because, you know, you could. I can definitely see the argument. And then our last comment comes from Comfortable King 64, and he says, switch Durant and Flynn probably. Yeah, I could see that. I think that, you know, Sean Flynn was Rookie of the Year last year. I think Durant was snubbed for his Most Improved Player of the Year award. I understand if you wanted to switch the two, but I think that statistically Durant should be where he is. I think Flynn should be where he is. I definitely could see if you wanted to switch it because of talent-wise, but I definitely think that they should stay the same. So yeah, it's going to be a video, guys. Pretty fun. I love the comments that you guys make. Let me know what you think about these responses. And if you have any if the guys in the comments have any responses to mine, I would love to hear them. I'm always good for a good discussion. Thank you to everyone who's supported me, and thank you for continuing to grow the channel. I'm so excited and thankful for all you guys do, and I cannot wait to see what we're holding in the future. Make sure you subscribe for future content. Draft, power rankings are coming in the future. Other fun videos. Make sure you like the video, share it, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you guys next time.